Nice. Okay. My choice of music was a little rough.
I didn't hear it. What was it?
It was, see, that's what I got to figure out because there's got to be, it was just some kind of, it was almost like a kindergarten song over and over again. So I got to figure out one of these times I'll figure out like how to do all that. But speaking of that, welcome tonight. That'll be great. We are going to have it a different situation next time. We're going to try something. Amy and I and Rachel got our attempted a different streaming thing. So what we're noticing is not a lot. We won't get as many. It's not about the attendance, it's about the questions. And so a lot of times it's much easier to live stream a question. So if you're out there, Julie, don't worry. I'll show you how to do it. Very easy. But that way we can like answer and kind of rapid fire a bunch of different questions. So
Yeah.
that would be awesome. Um, Let me fix something real quick. Oh, perfect. Okay. So tonight I want to go over. So what we're gonna do, ours is called tonight is like healing your gut naturally, which is kind of a broad topic, but I thought going through it kind of relates to how we would start somebody that wants to start the journey of like fixing their gut holistically and going through all that part. But before we do that, I got three different things, four different things tonight. So that we found. But and happy Father's Day to everybody. Mine was awesome. My kids and I did Saturday was kind of our day. And I told them I don't want to do a lot. Let's go out to dinner together. And so
Yeah.
we went out to a dinner, then to Griffin, which is delicious. No one was there because everybody else was grilling, which is
Yeah.
hilarious. So like not a bad move.
Yeah.
So I get it, but I was like, man, that'd be fun. And then we did the beach this morning, which is awesome. So
Fun.
yeah, Amy, if you guys ever want to do 8 in the morning, get up on Saturday or Sunday and go take Sadie with you. You get the first parking spot in the friggin' place every time because like we go to Silver Beach over there.
Yeah.
It's almost identical hour. You just
Hmm.
go right in, put your stuff in, wear out until we get done. We usually wear out about like noonish, where we're like, all right, let's go because we're getting hungry. So we then go and come back home, and then we're back 1:30 or 2. Typically, it's really fun though. It's like just something we've always done, and we're gonna probably do it all summer. So, I just left my beach stuff in the back actually, so for that same reason. Then you don't have to worry about the dogs, chickens, all that stuff, right? So you have to go get all that. You have to figure out a way to do it. Just barely make it under that time frame. So anyway, so so tonight is the three things I got are noise pollution is a major problem. So we have to start understanding that now that we have these earbuds. I'm terrible. I keep that thing way high. But I've seen a lot of times, and this is going to be hard to take. But when you start losing your hearing, sometimes people have brain issues because of that. And we end up with like possibly dementia, probably some neurologicals like that. So we see that a lot. So take care of your hearing as best you can. Hearing loss also is connected to heart problems and oh well, and Alzheimer's and dementia we went through. So those are things. Just start monitoring that. Make sure you're not going too crazy on that. Like a lot of times now we've had our jobs that aren't as bad that way. They've really started understanding that. But just like on a lawnmower, put some hearing protection on, something like that. Curcumin. So curcumin, there's curcumin's really, you have to take a lot of it. So curcumin's the yellow that's in turmeric. Okay, so there's like ginger has it. A lot of that, it almost looks like a dye. And so turmeric, ginger, bromelain, a lot of your anti-inflammatories, curcumin's probably the top anti-inflammatory all over the place. So one of the way they was bringing up the ways to take it, and so a lot of times you'll see the Ayurvedic medicine has one called golden milk. Golden milk, there's a recipe somewhere, but golden milk, it's milk and the turmeric with a few other things, maybe some honey, but I guess it's really, really good. But it also aids in the digestion of the curcumin because curcumin can sit in your gut. That's one reason why we have to stack it. So when I tell a patient they take it, they have to take like 6 a day for a while just to build up the system because it's not going to digest right away. And so that's one reason that occurs. One other way, and you'll see it on a supplement, is adding pepper. So black pepper, for some reason, helps the digestion of curcumin, and it allows it to like get into your system a lot quicker. So remember those two. There's one called golden milk, and then black pepper. Huge. But if you get that good absorption, then you'll start seeing good effects because a lot of people, they think they're not sure if turmeric works until they get enough in them. Then when they take it away, then they find out, right? So cinnamon was another good one in diet, like we use it all over the place, but used to be huge and it still is in different types of gut cancers, diabetes, inflammation, and tooth decay. They even say it does increased learning. So these are all things to kind of think about when you're doing it. Cinnamon, using it, it'll help you, and it's delicious. And then my last thing tonight before we start is I am doing my podcast again. So if you ever get on Spotify, it's a pretty cool thing. I might try to screen share it. Yeah, I could do that. I'll show you that. So I'm going to screen share it. It's pretty cool. It's called The Prize Inside. Actually, let me do that right now because it's right on there. Okay. So this is what it looks like. So you guys see that? So
Yeah.
it's called The Prize Inside. And I finally figured out there's a lot of episodes actually. I didn't realize how many episodes I got. So if you're ever interested in like smaller chunks, they're like 45 minutes, 31 minutes, a lot more philosophical in this. It's just a cool thing. I was telling Amy, reason I love doing this and trying to record what we do is because of a special guy. His name was Dr. Williams. All of us knew him at the office, and he told me years ago, and it's always stuck to me because he was not joking. He's like, write down these things. So the prize inside's all about chiropractic philosophy. We go pretty deep in that, in these little times and like understanding it for yourself. But also I try to get good interviews with people that have done extraordinary things. And there's a few really, really good ones. Now that I got it on Spotify, you can hear the one from Toby, Amy, if you go all the way down.
Oh, cool. When did you do
Yeah,
that
so
one?
I'm still that was when I first did it. So like
Oh,
2017, 18.
a while
So
ago. Yeah.
um that was a pretty incredible one. There's a lot of good interviews on there. I almost want to relaunch those
Mhm.
because there's some good ones. Shane is on
Mm.
there, some really cool ones. So eventually we'll get some more of those interviews again because I just absolutely adore that. And we're setting up my barn for a studio where we can just sit and chat like that. So that'll be good. I got my first one, I think, lined up. He did, I can't remember. He did 7 days of just straight walking. Just crazy. So I gotta get him on and ask about that. So anyway, so let's start tonight's gut health situation. Let's get in there. Gut health. All right, sorry. So one of the things I gotta do a lot of times is because I really love like sometimes, and that's why we're gonna do it with the online chat system, is
Mhm.
because we can actually answer questions because I get them later but that's no helpful. That's not real.
Yeah.
Exactly. Super helpful. So like it'll be good. It'll be good. All right. So let's go. Oh yeah, this. All right. Then yeah. Slideshow. Okay. So self-healing your gut naturally. All right. So here we go. So tonight we're going to talk about a good proven strategy to start taking your gut health back. Dietary strategies first, so that we can that help out a ton. There are a lot of different ones for different people. So remember that as we go, and then herbal remedies to kind of begin the journey and understanding the flow of the process. Okay, so this is where we're going to keep it in mind that like we're not going to try to heal things, right? We're trying to give the perfect environment, and that's what tonight will be all about is the perfect environment to to create the next level of gut health. So that'll be that. Let's talk about the first part of the self-healing your guts. Fat and meat is a light detox protocol. So carnivore diet, Atkins style diet, those are really, really good, because a lot of times what the everybody's found is you really, and let you know if you're allergic to a certain meat, like you will die, right? So and I'm talking like people that shellfish, all those things. There's a major reaction, so but the general population, a lot of other people are not allergic to meat or fat. And a lot of times you can get nutrition and calories in without having the other things. So what I mean by detox, so fat and meats only. Fat and meats only. You don't have to do this for a long time. A lot of people call it the keto diet. Carnivore is another name for it currently. Um, those are, for weight loss and those kind of things. We're using it in this sense to create a detox situation where we're not touching gluten, dairy, sugar, any of those things. The reason we're doing that is to get a clean slate. So we're trying to get rid of the situation, right? So this is one, you pick the fats and meats one if your digestive problem isn't like so bad that you can't digest those things, right? And so then the next one we're going to go to, if you're beyond that, right? Then we would probably go broths, right? Beef broth, vegetable broth, chicken broth. All of those are fantastic options for beginning, right? So there's a couple ways you can do that. Broth on its own is a few days is rough. I'll just tell you that. So I would say, if you're not that intense, I wouldn't do that. But again, it's the same thing. Trying to eat no, sugar, gluten, especially those two majors. Dairy, you can do actually in this, that situation, but just make sure that's good. If in fact you're not to a point where we really have to go after it, a lot of times at this point you could do vegetables can be a hard thing on the digestive system, especially cold. So what we want to do is cook everything. We want to get it as soft as possible because you want the vitamins and minerals from there. But we really, really need to do that because our digestive tract that's its job. It's to digest things. So we're trying to get it back to where it needs to. Okay. And so, like before, no sugar or gluten or those kind of things. And the reason is it's not because we're going to go into that. It's not because we are gluten intolerant. Okay. So there's really no such, I don't want to say that. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's somebody will argue with me on this one. However, we have killed off the gut bacteria that digest gluten. That's our major issue. And so with that, what occurs is that if we get if through different things, chemicals, antibiotics, a lot of different situations will cause us to lose the gut bacteria. And the first two are the lactose gut bacteria and the one that digests gluten, which you don't need to know the names. You wouldn't remember them anyway. But the those two get injured or damaged. And then what occurs is if you eat gluten, now gluten becomes a danger to your body. So what happens in a dangerous situation? Your body calls the police, which is the inflammation little cells, and they start inflaming the tar out of your gut. And so a lot of times people feel a lot better when they go to like a keto diet if they have some kind of gluten problem. Okay. So what we're doing here is trying to get rid of everything so that we can get the body to that point of nature needs no help, just no interference. And so what we want to get back to is the understanding that you can get this situation fixed most of the time. There's situations I'm sure out there, right? But a lot of times we can really go after it. And so, and it just takes a lot. The tougher harder your gut issue is, the more your journey is going to be. That's just how that goes. All right. Sorry, I was rambling. I love this subject. So let's talk about your gut health continues. What is the role of water? Water is fantastic. One of the things I'm noticing, it's kind of a fascinating one I heard, is one thing you don't want to do is drink a ton of water like after you eat, which is kind of crazy. Maybe little sips or whatever. The reason is we don't want to flush everything out so you don't get all the good nutrients, right? Which is kind of fascinating. Um, Rachel's chiropractor in Canada always had this good one. To really move things, he would have a warm lemon water in the morning and do jumping jacks. It was all about getting that digestion going in the morning. And I thought that was fascinatingly insightful for about 20 years ago when I met him. So, like, he was way ahead of the time. Um, so that's why warm can be good. It doesn't shock the system, probably, those kind of things. But he alluded that warm was really good in helping that out. I like saying 64 ounces or at minimum probably. A lot of people get to like 32. You don't have to be, like 64, you're doing pretty well. You want to get up a little bit above 64. You don't have to like crush yourself on that part. The water part is how about the quality? Does that matter? It absolutely matters. It's probably one of the bigger kickers of what we have going in our earth currently. Um, the plastics matter. The plastics matter that's in there. The um where it comes from, like those kind of things. If it's filtered 17 times, it's not the greatest water for you. So what you want to do is, research. And we could do a whole thing on, just water selection because there's so many out there. There's some good ones in the store. There's some good ones, but you're going to pay a little bit more. Um, but just be wary that we should study the water that we're doing, making sure it's filtered well, like a lot of things, high pH to it. There's a lot of situations where the closer to spring water, natural, awesome you get, the better. What is the role? Okay, so this is a good one. So because we're gonna go into the herbal situation in a minute, but what is the role of fermented foods? Okay, so if we're heating, so right now we're currently talking about fixing the gut. Okay, so fixing the gut, and then we're in the initial stages. Once you've done some kind of situation where it's you detoxed, you did something similar, then starting to add other, vegetables and all those kind of things is a good idea. Why fermented foods? Well, fermented foods are actually probably the best probiotic on the planet. We don't even know how much good stuff is in each one of those. So understanding and starting to integrate those into your daily diet is a fantastic idea. One of the big things I notice is when that occurs, when we have probiotics or the fermented food stuff, food with fermented foods, what occurs a lot of times is people have like a gut bacteria directly after. Okay. So gut problems directly after you had a fermented food means you're on the right path because your gut's telling you something. It's kind of like, oh, what does that mean? It means you probably should keep doing it, and maybe in a little less, maybe don't let it get you as uncomfortable. But if it's extremely uncomfortable, then we know we have to like restart where you can't have that yet, right? So we got to get it all balanced. But fermented foods, ah, so awesome. All right. What herbals can do? Okay. Oh man, what did I say? What herbals can you do when your gut is bad? Okay, so that's how I wanted to start. So we have digestion is a process, so we have to do herbals as a process. Okay, so this isn't your gut hurts, but where does the food go in? Right. So it starts in your mouth and your tongue and your saliva. Okay. So one of the problems that we have was we don't take care of the rest of the entire pathway, but we're hoping that we stick something in our mouth that gets the gut feeling better. Okay. So what we've known from ancient times is that they had all this. They understood the digestive problems as you go. And so one of the things is we have to come back to it. We have to understand, the roles of all these different things. So what we have is we're going to go through each one. So what does your digestive process need? Bitters. Bitters are things, an herb that actually initiates your brain and your gut nervous system to initiate the beginnings of digestion. This is crucial because sometimes our food isn't necessarily like super flavorful to where your body gets kind of shocked by the time that gut hits there. That's why they used to have bitters before every meal, especially still in Italy, a lot of times. And this is like a little alcoholic drink. Sometimes there's ways. I have a herbal tincture that you can do that are digestive bitters that you don't have to do the alcohol part. But that is a fantastic move, especially for before a large dinner. Possibly digestive enzymes, and we'll go into why they're temporary. Digestive enzyme, we never want to take things that don't allow the body to do the work. Okay, so we don't want to ever replace something that the body does. Now, digestive enzymes in the beginning of a sick gut can be really, really good. The problem is we have to make sure we wean off of those so that the body's doing the enzyme building. Remember, we have an internal innate intelligence that we really, really want to focus on and get it rolling. So there's antimicrobial herbs for the gut. There's antispasmodics, there's anti-inflammatories, there's we'll go through, and we've done it, me and Amy have on here, but choleretics and cholagogues. We have wound healing herbs, all of these different ones. We have to determine what is going on with that gut system. And once we do that, then you have a better answer. And what is the big issue we're fighting? Like, how big is it? All right. What herbals can you do when your gut is bad? So we have to determine what is occurring. Most of the time, we don't have to know. Okay. Gosh, I wrote this last night, so I'm like, usually I write it before or like just before, either a couple hours, so I remember what I wrote. but but this one, so above, down, and inside out, right? So we have to figure out. A lot of times we don't have to know exactly what the condition is. One of the problems I see in medical society currently is that we will have a person suffering for days, weeks, months. And partly it's not necessarily that medical doctor's fault. The patient is trying and searching for what is wrong with them because they believe what is wrong with them can be done by medication, and then the healing begins. If we don't even know, a lot of times, if we start to you fix the gut and you create good gut health, you're gonna figure it out because the human body doesn't need to know a word. It just needs to know, it needs to have what it needs, and then it'll fix it. So you also need to understand when you're having problems. So is it after you eat? Or one of the other ones I hear, are you just not hungry all the time? This one's more concerning to me than not hungry all the time because I'm starting to see it with a lot of my elders, my like older patients, losing weight, just saying they're not hungry, so they don't eat. Very concerning. For the reasons is a lot of times it's a major gut health problem in disguise. You know, a lot of times they're taking so many different medicines, you know, those kind of things. What can we learn of mine? We go through this. I kind of predict the future. They're going to say a lot of that. We're going to have that a lot where the issue will be, you know, in the elder, you know, the older population, that it was their gut the whole time, you know, as they're wasting away. So this is something to talk to your oldest of your group to see what's happening. What are the issues after the pain, constipation? So what are the issues? Pain, constipation, diarrhea, headaches, back pain. You know, headaches are related hugely to gut problems. Like one of the major kickers is your gut health is terrible. So these are all things that you should understand and know. All right, so let's go through some herbal actions. This is some stuff to just kind of sponge on. We're going to go through it. There's so many. There's so many good herbs for especially the gut. Um, because you have us in the 1% tribe, one of my favorite parts is like when I got into the herbal, you know, becoming an herbalist. One of my favorite parts is they said, man, with gut, I think gut musculoskeletal system, they just respond so well. And there's so many options, and like the roadmap looks really good, you know, and it's been that way for thousands of years before I even learned any of this stuff. So how did they know all this? That's what's crazy. That's the part that always blows my mind is they didn't have a lab.
Yeah,
So
how'd they figure it
how do you
out?
know? Yeah, once you go through these, you're like, they use these 600 years ago. You that it was antimicrobial. That's fascinating. So, anyway, so antimicrobial kind of speaks for itself. It means that if we got some major microbes that are causing us the problem, we you can use these type. Okay, so turmeric you're going to see a lot of. A couple of my awesome ones that I love. So turmeric, ginger, cumin, and then what they call the berberine rich plants. Berberine is it's a very almost like stainy yellow, essentially. But these berberine rich ones are super bitter. So just remember that. But the berberine ones are golden seal, Oregon grape, and coptis. There's many more. You got a ton of herbal ones. Antispasmodic. Antispasmodic relaxes the gut action. One of the reasons I love chamomile, hops, or peppermint. Chamomile's my favorite just because it hits so many different organ systems of the entire body. And I want to try to hit everything when you do it, similar to like ashwagandha, you know, those kind of things. Not forest specific, but chamomile's nice on all of this, especially on the antispasmodics. Not a lot of things relax the gut very well. And so these can do that for sure. Anti-inflammatory. Anti-inflammatory reduces the active inflammation of your gut. So remember that. So turmeric and ginger are for gut on top of that, right? So you have inflammation in joints. This is all about your gut. Turmeric, ginger, chamomile, and loose leaf teas. Okay. So they found even any loose leaf tea can be anti-inflammatory for your gut. So remember that as you go. And then the other one that has the cool names is choleretic and cholagogues. Choleretics, they break down the bile from the gallbladder and liver. So that's what they do. They allow the gallbladder and liver to go to work in the right direction. Something to be understanding of this. If we don't think it's a problem, like we'll have a few hundred people watch this tonight. If you watch it all the way to this point, I want to have a thumbs up if you want to do it, or some code word, a like or something. if you've already had your gallbladder out or had gallbladder issues already. And a lot of times my younger people will have already had this. The amount of people that have gallbladder issues so bad that they have to remove it is like mind-boggling, like almost everybody. So it'd probably be a good idea before you have this situation. Maybe we get into the choleretics and oh, I didn't put any. Maybe I put it in the next one. Nope. I'll give you those. Don't let me forget that, Amy.
Okay.
I'll give you. Oops, I forgot to put that. Okay. So how do we go about truly living gut health from the above, down, inside out? So these are words I haven't used in a long time on here, but because I'm doing my podcast, I love these. Above, down healing. So above, down is conscious and spirit, right? All right, we know our biofield is what runs. We're connected. We have all this conscious mind. We heal from that down into the body. The body then uses the matter of the intelligence of the body, uses the matter to heal from inside out. The reason chiropractors use that is because when you take something from the outside in, no matter what that is a different approach, right? So our job is to take the stuff that we have, the matter and all those things, and make it as good as it can so it can heal from the inside out. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. All right. So we need to take that situation because a lot of times in our gut health, we have issues that span medicine. So we take a ton of outside in situation issues, right? And because of that, we take all these outside solutions. We never really get to the bottom of like allowing that body to work correctly. So we have to remove the interferences. So we have to remove the interferences. And the way we do that is getting rid of things we can't eat, right? So we can do that through these detox. That's really what a detox is about. But now we have to see how is the ability to function. So then what if we gave it certain herbs that will allow the function to rise up, give it a little aid from the outside, which is okay to do, right? And help that body, improve those things. So not everything outside in is terrible. No, not every medicine is, not all those things, right? But so if the body can do it on its own, you're even healthier of an individual. So just remember that as we go. So hopefully that makes sense. We need to start doing it like you have somebody put it this way. So you have a gravel driveway, okay, that it's been there for 30 years. And now you want to make it into a garden. Okay? So now what would you do? You wouldn't start planting. I'm telling you right now, you'd probably do some stuff. And in fact, this gravel driveway, all these semis and trucks actually like sat on it. So all the oil and crap, it was like falling down, tire pieces, all that stuff. So now we have to get to a point where we got to make that gravel driveway into something that can grow some plants. Can it? Can some plants? Yep. But what are we going to do? Right. So we're going to come back to that in a sec. We need this approach more than ever. Many struggle because of the process itself. Well, let's talk about that, and then we're going back to the gravel driveway. So many struggle because this process can be ridiculously expensive. There is a better way, and one of the reasons I love what we do is we can help people find that better way. And so one of the things is to start understanding taking care of your body and getting that going in the right direction. So that's one of the things I want to introduce tonight. Our office does have a better way because we've had quite a few of these situations. So there's a couple different ones. Okay. So our first approach is dependent on how confident you are in going about this, or if it's something you just want a different, type of situation. We do an entire nutritional evaluation with muscle testing, optional blood work, and coaching throughout. This isn't to do any particular condition. This is just to get health back to the gut. That is it. That's all we care about, and and that one is awesome. So it's really fun. You get Amy and I, we do some major training. We've done it a bunch of times now, but enough to understand how to do it and become like a coach with you as your journey goes. All right. So now the other one is if you want to try it on your own, which is amazing too, because you can still ask anytime questions, all those kind of things. We have this one called the Gut Health Starter Pack. Okay. So the Gut Health Starter Pack is something we kind of came up with as herbal stuff as we can. So what we start with is acidophilus. It's a refrigerated probiotic for intestinal tract. Now, I can go into the conundrums. I wouldn't guess Facebook Live would love to go through all the different ophuluses. So there is a ton of different situations. So we start with a good basic one, and then there are severe cases that need different probiotics. So that is a probiotic that is awesome. I have nothing but good to say about it because it's been my kid's flu medicine for now she's 17, 18 years old. So, I mean, that's what we gave. If they had a tummy ache, that's what we gave them. And it worked. For our kid, that was the way to get it done, right? A new one for me is the papaya enzyme. Now, the papaya enzyme is chewable enzyme that helps. It's a proteol. It's basically the digestive enzymes. So, but what's nice about this is the papaya enzyme actually helps those digestive enzymes. Right now, you can actually get digestive enzymes, and it kind of bypasses the system. A papaya enzyme helps kickstart those digestive enzymes, and we've seen really good with that. And this thing is probably like one of the most inexpensive di- uh, supplement packs we have by far. It's crazy. I was looking at it, I was like, oh, that is awesome. I love when it's cheap. It's so cool. And then another one it's an herbal tincture by Chups, who we don't give away their secrets, but it's called Digest Ease. It aids the body in creating the enzyme needed to create the more absorption possible. So it uses those different ones. And that is what we have at the office. So what are we going to do for a 1% tonight? Pick how you want to start on your own, or we'll be around to do whatever you need, just asking questions. A more detailed approach, you can just start, right? Because there's enough information, knowledge, those kind of things. But start focusing, right? Start focusing on your eating. Don't allow your body to be separate from that eating. That will help a lot as well. So once you start seeing the signs and those kind of things, that would be good. And make some changes if you want. So that is all I have tonight.
Cool.
I know I started talking a little bit too much. Do you have anything? I saw you unmute at the gravel driveway.
Well, I was just thinking about that because, not only are the semis dripping oil and gas and whatever else, but they're driving on it and pushing that gravel down, packing it down harder and harder. So to fix your gut health, it's not like a 1 month thing. You know what I mean? Like you'll start to see improvement, but you got to almost scrape all that crap down deep, but at the same time nurture it, right? Like to get the good bacteria back. Yeah.
Yep. And that's the key to the whole gut health thing is that's not going to be an overnight thing either, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things. It's going to take, that one you'd have to remove the gravel. You have to do what you said, right? We have to, constantly move that soil. Is the soil going to be ready underneath? No. So maybe we're bringing, topsoil in. Maybe we're getting stuff to decay into it.
Fertilizer.
Yeah, fertilizer. Leaves. Yeah. Fertilizer would be similar to like a liquid multivitamin, stuff that it needs, right?
Sunlight, vitamin D,
Yep. All that stuff.
minerals. Yep.
Yep. So a lot of times,
Um,
if you think of your gut that way, you can see like once it gets bad, how much work it'll be to go the other way, right?
yeah.
And so it's a fascinating world of that stuff, man.
I
I
have
could be
a short
oh
thing.
yes, please. Because we got if we're
So,
going to down, right? We got to do it
yep.
all.
Right. So there's a lot of stuff about the stomach in here. Cancer, gastritis, heartburn, just sore intestines, sore stomach, indigestion, all kinds of stuff. But there's just a smaller stomach in general that I'll read because the rest of it's several pages long.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it says the stomach receives food and digests it to fill the different needs of my body in vitamins, proteins, etc. Similarly, I nourish my brain with the situations and events of my life. Each stomach has its own way of functioning. Though the general form is the same, digestion can vary from one person to another. My stomach reflects the way I absorb and integrate my reality and my capacity for digesting new ideas or new situations. It can be compared to barometer, however you say it,
All right.
indicating my degree of openness and my way of reacting in life. I accept to welcome new ideas and openness and non-judgment. So it's digestion in different ways,
Right, right.
not just food,
So
but
right. And that way, I mean, there's so much like how do you digest your world
yeah,
essentially is like,
everything around you.
yeah. So how are you with everything around you? Are
Hmm.
you having a disconnect there? Whoa. That's pretty deep, but
Yeah.
amazing. So that's another thing that Amy and I we do some really cool things in that world to try to recognize and give you anything we can do to help that. So I love this topic. I think it helps so many people. I think as the years go on, we're going to get better and better at it and the people that we've had already are pretty stoked about the whole situation.
Can
You
you name like maybe five
know,
or six things that are caused by bad gut bacteria? Like
oh,
like ADHD,
oh, sure. So
PCOS.
other than all the numerous gut things like Crohn, like all those, right? Crohn's, IBS, blah blah blah, right? So the other ones that ADHD is massive. The gut health, the gut brain connection is the key. So ADHD, um, headaches are massive. Back pain, low back pain is actually a huge one because if you think of the nervous system to the gut is actually the L5S1, L4, L5, those type of situations. So a lot of those times, those two areas are huge. Attention in general, uh, you can see that. Oh man, there's quite a few that
What
connect to
about
it because of the brain gut health
like
situation.
female stuff like PCOS?
Oh man, PCOS, that's a great one. So yeah, your uterine, all your ovarian, uterine situations, if you don't have good gut health, I mean, it shows up fast. And so one of the things that's fascinating about PCOS, and I'm not an expert in it by any means, but a lot of ladies that I've seen, I saw a lady lose 70 pounds and almost reverse the PCOS based on certain foods. So she just the PCOS. There's even a certain like not a fan club, but like a support group. So like a support group for it, and the diet she had found showed certain vitamins to stay away from because like those kind of things. She took very particular stuff and she did great. Like it started actually helping. But all those ovarian cysts, think about how many females that are in the pregnant time frame have their either a gallbladder attack or their gallbladder out. I mean, the number is massive. Like hopefully they'll get on the chat and like actually do that. That would be cool because you won't even believe like how many people have had their gallbladder out already. Now, is it the end of the world? No, that's not what we're talking about. The biggest thing is that the gallbladder wasn't working properly. And the gallbladder is the place that bile sits, that's from your liver. And your liver, what's its main job? It's to detox the world that you put in it.
The
Okay.
filter.
It's the filter. Okay. So if you don't have, if that filter's having to run all the time and filling that sucker with bile, or the bile, like it just keeps getting there, it has a really hard time and breaks down fats and meats and those kind of things. So, and that's another thing. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. If you have a gallbladder liver thing, maybe go broth versus fats and meats for a while, right? Because if it's like way crazy when you have a gallbladder attack every time you have some kind of meat, then
Yeah.
maybe go some light meats. And that's why we always say easy digestion, not just for the gut, but also for the process of digesting. There's so many amazing things happening at the same time. Saliva comes out, it comes down, it starts to break down as it goes down. The liver goes, oh crap, I gotta like beat it up a little bit more. Then it goes in, then it beats up in like miles and miles of colon. And then it knows where to drop off the stuff. Like the amount of stuff that has to go right in there is insane.
Mhm.
And it's just one of those things where if we start doing that, like it'll be really good. But yeah, so I would say all those have something to do with it, right? And we're
Acne,
seeing it. What did you say?
acne.
Acne. Oh, acne's the bit. Yes, acne's huge. Um, One time my daughter listens to me, my youngest. She's like, "What would you do?" I was like, "I'd be doing probiotics all the time. I'd take some multis, and then do some more soups for your food." Right? She's not a bad eater at all. So I'm like, "All right, you'll get it." And so, some of hers is because she's experimenting. She's that age where they're putting stuff on their face. With some of these creams, you got to be careful with too. So they sound good on the camera screen, but they can react, and you don't want that. So making sure that your kids have good gut bacteria is crucial. Amy's oldest, I don't have to worry about it. I think he ate nails, entire
Dirt, worms, crickets.
anything, anything. So if you have that type of
Oh,
diet, you're gonna be fine.
what about allergies? Like seasonal allergies?
Oh God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So allergies are the problem, right? So allergies is essentially your body reacting to stuff that shouldn't react, right? So just like gluten. So that's why they put in the allergy category for sure. Um, but if you're if and oh, speaking of that, sick all the time. So let's call that. So 85% of your immune system's in a perfectly well designed gut. So think about that. That's who reacts to everything, right? So that's where the initiation of your immune system, one of the major places where all those cells are. More in food in there, but the other reason is, and then the allergies lead to those kind of situations. So it's really interesting. There's so much, but
Hmm.
it's one of those where that's where you can get into the weeds too, in a sense. That's why you have to stay focused and be like, man, I'm going to get my gut health as healthy as I possibly can to what I know, right?
Hmm.
And then maybe we'll do that near. We should do a poop one where we get different various poops. That would be, we might get popular. So maybe next week, let's do it. We're on the chat subject anyway. Next week, poop,
Poop.
poop
Perfect.
pictures and everything. It's going to be
Yeah. We'll
awesome.
make we'll make sure Gina's on that call.
Yes, it's gonna be awesome. But that'll help. That'll help understanding too. So that will be very good.
Yeah.
I know you missed my other one because you should have seen the dumb picture I had on that last one. Let's see if I find. Let me find it real quick
The
before we.
last
Okay, let me get out of this. Escape that. Oh, hang on. Stop share for a sec. Escape. How do you exit? All right. All right. Oh, hang on. Exit. Okay, there we go. I'll go back to my last one. You'd appreciated it. All right. Let's screen share. And we won't go through it, but view slideshow. Okay. So we'll go through. This was our athletic for kids and athletes yet last week.
Yeah.
And then I got to this one and it showed
Okay, the box.
me. That's what you can go for,
No,
right?
no, that looks more like Ryan.
I know it does. That's the sad part. I have a brother that does look like that. So, dear Lord. So it's awesome. But I think we're good, kid. So I
Yep.
think it was good. Hopefully people got something out of that. And remember, next time we're going to do a live stream. So should be amazing after that. So
Cool.
All right, guys. Sadie, have a good night.
You say bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you later.